Good morning. I love that. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Chicago, in person and at home. My name is Tabitha DeBoni. I use she, her pronouns. I am a member of the Praise and Worship Committee, and I'm honored to welcome you to worship this morning along with our worship team, Bobby Campbell, who is our guest speaker today, also Elizabeth Tolbert, Director of Religious Education, and the music will be led by Dr. Adam Odell, Director of Music. First Unitarian Church has been home for progressive religion in Chicago and beyond since 1836. The church sits on the western shore of Lake Michigan, south of the Chicago River. We honor the indigenous people for whom these unceded ancestral homelands, as well as the diverse and vibrant indigenous American communities who make their home here today. We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation, a community of children, youth, and adults, a people of many beliefs and traditions, bound not by the specific list of things we believe, but the values we share, and the mission to grow our souls and heal the world. Whether you just stepped into this church for the first time or the 1,000th time, you are welcome here. Whether you believe in God all of the time, some of the time, or none of the time, you are welcomed here. Whether you have a PhD, a GED, or no degree, you are welcomed here. No matter your race, or who you love, or how much money you do or don't have, you are welcomed here. If you're a visitor, we're excited to have you with us. Please let us know that you are here by filling out a visitor card and dropping it off at the offering plate. And please make sure to sign the guest list at the back of the sanctuary. If anyone has a joy or sorrow that you would like to have read out loud, please fill out a card and give it to one of the ushers as they collect the offering. If you have a joy or sorrow you would like the Care and Support Committee to know about privately, you may put cards in the sanctuary box in the back at any time. For announcements, please join us after the service in Chris Moore Parlor up the stairs to your left for refreshments and good conversation. Also after service, if you would like to see a few minutes of James Arthur Adams speaking for himself, please bring your coffee and join Bobby in Hall Chapel right after service. This Wednesday at 6:30 p.m., please join us for the First Youth Film Club in Chris Marlowe Parlor, and on Thursday, join the Engage Buddhism practice at 5:30, also in Chris Moore Parlor. Also coming up, join the Humanist group meeting on August 24th at 7 p.m. on Zoom for a conversation with Professor Anthony Penn of Rice University regarding his book, The End of God Talk, and African American Humanist Theology. If you're interested in joining that meeting, please talk to either Hank Henriquez or Samantha Evans to get meeting details. And please check the order of service for all other announcements and information. We will now light the chalice. Please join me in reading our covenant as we light our chalice. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace and to seek the truth in love and to help one another. Thank you.
Come into this place of peace and let its silence heal your spirit. Come into this place of memory and let its history warm your soul. Come into this place of prophecy and power and let its vision change your heart.
Please rise in body or spirit for the singing of our opening hymn. It is number 121 in the gray hymnal, We'll Build a Land. That is 121 in the gray hymnal. Again, please rise in body or spirit for the singing. We will sing verses 1, 2, and 4. We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land where we bring the good tidings to all the afflicted and all those who mourn, and we give them garlands instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a land where peace is born. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. Verse 4. Come, build a land where the mantles of praises resound from spirits once faint and once weak, where like oaks of righteousness stand her people. Oh, come, build the land, my people we seek. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
Good morning.
Good morning.
At this time, I would like to invite any young people or children, or anyone who considers themselves young at heart up front. Back to school time, you all are back. Yes. I missed you guys. So how's it going? Great. Thank you. All right. So today, the title of our story is called The Five Smooth Stones. So I have 5 stones. Would anyone like one? Yes. Here we go. Here you go. All right. So if you have a stone, when I call your name, I need you to hold it up. Is that okay? Yes. Would you like a stone? Una? Would you like a stone? When I call your name, Una, can you do me a favor and hold your stone up? All right, thank you. We ready? All right. Have you ever found a a smooth stone outside, at the beach, beside a river, or while walking? You've never found a stone? Open your eyes. Sometimes a stone feels so perfect in your hand that you want to keep it. But a stone doesn't start out smooth. Water moves over it and again. It bumps against other stones and gets carried along by the current. Little by little, its rough edges change. Today, I bought 5 smooth stones. Can we hold up our stones? Everyone? Thank you. Does anyone know a story about someone who carried 5 smooth stones? Any guesses? Yes. Who? Thanos? Okay. Very true. Yes, Bella. Sorry? I was carrying 5 stones. Anybody in the audience, do we know a story of anyone who carries 5 stones? No? Yes. Are you gonna guess? Yes, David, thank you. That's right, David. So many of us know the story of David and Goliath. Goliath was a giant warrior who frightened everyone around him. People thought that because he was young and small, he had no chance against such a powerful giant. But David didn't choose a sword or armor. He went to a stream and chose 5 smooth stones. One of the stones helped David face Goliath. Many years later, Unitarian religious thinker James Luther Adam used 5 stones to think about something much bigger. He wasn't saying they simply described Unitarian Universalism. Instead, he asked an important question. What kind of faith helps people create a better world? Adams called them the 5 smooth stones of liberal religion. I think there is something important about imagining them as stones. 1 stone can be useful, but 5 stones together can build something. A path, a wall, or a foundation. They can become a part of a place where people gather. Our values work the same way. They become more powerful when we bring them together and when we build something. Hold it. Can you hold up the first stone? The first stone is revelation is continuous. That sounds complicated, but it means something simple. We don't know everything, and we're always learning. We can discover new things about ourselves, other people, the world, science, justice, and what it means to live together. It means asking questions, listening, and changing our minds when we learn something new. No idea is finished forever. We are always learning and growing. That's part of what makes our faith in a living faith. Thank you. Thank you. Can you hold it up so we can see it? I'm sorry. The second stone is free association. This is about freedom in relationships. We get to choose the people and communities we connect with, our friends, our groups, and our relationships we build. Freedom doesn't mean we don't care about others. It means relationships are chosen rather than forced. Think about your friends. You probably found who you share something with, a hobby, a laugh, a classroom, or simply the feeling that you enjoy being together. When people freely choose to come together, something powerful can happen. Which brings us to the third stone. Third stone? Thank you. Hold up the third stone, thank you. The third stone is justice. Adam said we should work to create a just and loving community. Justice means noticing when something isn't fair and asking what can we do about it. It means recognizing when someone is being left out and speaking up when someone is treated unfairly. It means not only asking, is it good for me, but also asking, is it good for all of us? Justice reminds us that our community should be a place where people are cared for, respected, and treated with dignity. Can we hold up the fourth stone, Una? Thank you. The fourth stone is make things happen. Hey, settle down. I love this one because it reminds us that change doesn't happen just because we wish for it. People make change. If we see something in our school, neighborhood, church, or world that we wish were different, we can do something about it. We can organize, we can volunteer, we can write a letter, speak up, help someone, or bring people together. An idea often associated with Mahatma Gandhi says that if we want to see a change in the world, we have to begin by living that change ourselves. If we want a kinder world, we practice kindness. A more peaceful world, then we practice peace. And a more just world, then we practice justice. We don't want to wait until we are adults or until someone gives us permission to care. We can begin right now. And the last stone, whoever has the fifth stone, thank you. The fifth stone is hope. Hope doesn't mean pretending everything is okay. It means believing that things can change and that our actions matter. It means that looking at something feels as big and as giant and saying, maybe we can do something about this. Sometimes we won't be able to change something by ourselves. That's okay, because remember the stones. One stone can do something, but 5 stones together can build a foundation. People are like that too. When we come together freely, we learn more from one another, work for justice, take action, and hold on to hope. We can accomplish things that none of us can do alone. That's what community can do. Can we hold up all the stones together, please? So imagine these 5 stones as a toolkit for our building a better world. Keep learning, choosing your relationships and communities freely, work for justice, don't just wish for change, help make it happen, live in hope. And just as these stones were shaped by water, we are shaped by one another. Our families, friends, teachers, experiences, and communities shape us. So here's something I want you to think about, children and grown-ups. If we could carry one of these 5 stones, if you can carry one of these 5 stones with you this week, which one would you choose? Would you choose the one that reminds you to keep learning? The one that's choosing relationships and community? The one that calls you to work for justice? The one that reminds you that you can make change happen? Or the one that reminds you to live in hope? Maybe you need one or more of the other things right now. And maybe, as you grow, you'll discover that you need all 5. Because we aren't meant to face the giants in the world alone. We carry our values, our questions, our freedom, our commitment to justice, and our willingness to act. We also carry hope. When we put all of those together, we don't just carry stones. We build community, we build relationships, we build more than just a loving world. One stone, one person, and one act of courage at a time. May we have the courage to make change happen, and may we never lose hope. Amen. Thank you. Now we will send the kids off to class with our love, and we invite you to turn and greet your neighbor. You can, yes.
We now take up our weekly offering. Your generosity supports the important ministries of the church. Each month, we choose a community partner with whom we share our collection 50-50. This month, our partner is Austin Scholars Awards Program. The Austin Scholars Awards Program is a committee of the Third Unitarian Church. Since 1974, the Austin Scholars Program has awarded over 425 college scholarships to outstanding CPS high school seniors in the Austin community of Chicago. Thank you for your generosity toward our shared ministry in this church and in the world. The offering will now be gratefully received. Thank you. Thank you for that selection, Adam. That's lovely. Today's reading will be taken from 1 Samuel chapter 17. Here is the setting. The Philistines and the Israelites are at war, one on one side of the mountain, the other on the other side of the mountain in the valley of Elah. A 9-foot Philistine warrior named Goliath, heavily armed, cries out for someone to fight him and thus determine the winner of the war. He taunts the Israelites morning and evening for 40 days. But all the men of Israel are dreadfully afraid. Meanwhile, David, the youngest of 8 brothers, has been sent by his elderly father to bring food to his 3 eldest brothers in the Israelite army. David hears the taunt. He tells King Saul, we're starting at verse 32. Let no man's heart fail because of him. Your servant will go and fight with this Philistine. And Saul said to David, you are not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for you are a youth, and he a man of war from his youth. But David said to Saul, "Your servant used to keep his father's sheep, and when a lion or a bear came and took a lamb out of the flock, I went out after it and struck it, and delivered the lamb from his mouth. The Lord, who delivered me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear, he will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine." And Saul said to David, "Go, and the Lord be with you." David took his staff in his hand, and he chose for himself 5 smooth stones from the brook, and put them in the shepherd's bag, and a pouch which he had, and his sling which was in his hand. Moving on to verse 48. When the Philistine arose and came and drew near to meet David, David hurried and ran towards the army to meet the Philistine. Then David put his hand in his bag and took out a stone, and he slung it and struck the Philistine in his forehead. And Goliath fell to his face to the earth. So David prevailed over the Philistine with a sling and a stone, and struck the Philistine and killed him. Thank you.
Please rise in body or spirit for the singing of our centering song. Sing through my voice, play through my hands, let the way be open. Sing through my voice. Sing through my voice, play through my hands, play through my hands, let the way be open. Let the way be open. Sing through my voice, play through my hands, let the way be open. Sing through my voice, play through my hands, let the way be open. Sing through my voice, play through my hands, let the way be open. Thank you. You may be seated.
Good morning. This morning, I want to explore the life and legacy of James Luther Adams with you. JLA, as he was known, was a member of First U while he taught at Meadville Seminary and University of Chicago from 1937 to 1956. A nationally recognized theologian and thinker, Adams believed liberal religion must confront injustice, especially racism, not as a political preference, but as a theological obligation. Let me begin with a story that has become legend among UUs. There are many variations of it. It takes place here, the First Unitarian Society of Chicago in 1948, and Adams was a key figure. 1948. World War II had ended only 3 years ago. This sanctuary was only 20 years old. Unitarians and Universalists were still separate denominations, I was 6 years old. It was also the year a young black woman named Pauline Daly, who had been teaching Sunday school at First U, asked to join our congregation. This was not customary, and so the board met to consider her request. One of the board members had objected, arguing that a new policy allowing blacks to join the church essentially made desegregation a creed, and we had no creed. Everyone wanted this important vote to be unanimous, and so the discussion went on late into the night. Finally, JLA, who was a member of the board, asked, "What do you think the purpose of this church is?" The objector finally replied, "Okay, Jim, the purpose of this church is to get hold of people like me and change us." And so Pauline Daly, later known to us as Polly McCoo, signed the membership book. I learned this story and about James Luther Adams after my late husband Finley and I joined the congregation in 1992. I believe that we are now living in a very difficult time. In addition to experiencing political turmoil in the world, we at First U are trying to discern the path forward for our newly lay-led congregation. Therefore, I think it is important for us to examine our faith. That is, what we together think is important in the world around us, and what that faith demands of us. In that spirit, I will say a few more things about Adams, describe one well-known paradigm from his theology, describe some of how he lived his life, and finally speculate about what we might learn from him. James Luther Adams was born in 1901 into a conservative Christian family. He lived for more than 90 years. By the time of his death, he was the most influential Unitarian theologian of his time. He was perhaps more a theology teacher who happened to be a UU than a UU theologian. For at U of C and later at Harvard, he taught students of many faiths, and his influence extended beyond UUs. Of him, philosopher and Lutheran theologian Paul Tillich said, "Without Adams, I would not be what I am. I may even confess that I feel him as a thorn in my flesh when I try to ignore the social implications of the Christian message." It is hard to know where to start introducing Adams. There is no book of central ideas, for he was not a systematic thinker. There are collections of diverse writings put together by scholars and friends, and you can get a sense of him just from the titles. On Being Human Religiously, An Examined Faith, The Prophethood of All Believers. He was a social ethicist who was especially interested in voluntary associations. That is, associations that people of differing perspectives choose to join. Think, for example, about labor unions, PTAs, political parties, churches. In the words of George Beach, Adams described the processes by which groups confront the great issues of social justice. But he delivered no moral prescriptions. The paradigm I will describe, he called the 5 smooth stones of liberal religion. They are described in a chapter called Guiding Principles for a Free Faith, which is a composite of 8 sermons and speeches. And if you try to look it up online, you are unlikely to find the entire chapter. When I first heard Adam's 5 stones, I thought they were a description of Unitarian Universalism. But we know that was not his intention from the first half of that chapter, the part that is usually overlooked, where he critiques liberalism. Briefly, he argued that during the last 200 years, one wing of liberalism had become extremely individualistic, regarding individuals rather than communities as worthy of the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. He called this specific form of liberalism possessive liberalism, and he believed it denied any responsibility for the social consequences of its economic power. With respect to possessive liberalism, he agreed with the critics. It had failed to live up to its promises. However, Adams sought to preserve the general ideas of liberalism, which was always critical of the status quo. The origin of 5 smooth stones is Hebrew scripture, as Tabitha read earlier. We can only speculate why David chose to pick up 5 stones to go after Goliath. But Adams used this paradigm to describe 5 elements of a reformed liberalism that could be used to attack injustice. He introduced them this way: with a self-denying ordinance that disclaims finality or authoritativeness, we venture the following characterizations of the essential elements of a genuine and vital religious liberalism. The first characterization of a genuine and vital religious liberalism, the first stone: revelation is continuous. Meaning has not been finally captured. In other words, we don't yet know everything. This is often translated in UU circles as, ours is a living tradition. We find our meaning in the here and now and not in some mysterious afterlife. And I find these liberating ideas. But I must add that there are 2 parts to Adams' explication of continuous revelation that are often ignored. The first is this. He writes, nothing is complete, and thus nothing is exempt from criticism. That may sound a little harsh, but criticism can be positive. It implies disagreement, of course, but the resolution of disagreements often leads us to new understandings. Unfortunately, we find ourselves in a time when not all ideas are open to criticism and disagreement, at least not at the denominational level of Unitarian Universalism. Adams' second, less explored point is this: the liberal's ultimate faith is not in himself or herself. He defines faith as that in which we have confidence. I have confidence, for example, in science and dialectics, and you no doubt have confidence in other things. In addition, Adams points out that most of us liberals sense something beyond our control in both history and nature. He suggests that religious people might talk about that something beyond their control as God. And here, he gives a definition of God that I can begin thinking about without denying my faith in science and dialectical materialism. He writes, God, or that in which we have faith, is the inescapable, commanding reality that sustains and transforms all meaningful existence. This is not some grandfatherly, personalized man keeping track of what we do every day and judging us. It is a force in the universe, the inescapable, commanding reality that sustains and transforms all meaningful existence. The second stone. All relations between people should be freely chosen and not coerced. He reminds us that as human history progressed from slavery to feudalism and beyond, some of the first struggles were to be able to gather together with others, away from the control of landowners or church hierarchy or government. Now, we come together freely to be part of a beloved community. As I mentioned, the focus of Adam's academic work was on voluntary associations. He thought we were defined as human beings by the kinds of voluntary organizations we joined. Beach summarizes Adam's understanding of the interdependence of person and community. In community, we become persons, and in turn, authentic communities respect and nurture individuals. To Adams, these were the creative interactions of human history. The third stone. We should work to establish a just and loving community, a faith that is not the sister of justice is bound to fail. Adam saw destructive as well as constructive forces in human history. He witnessed the destructive forces of Nazism firsthand in his visits to Germany in the 1930s, and they influenced him profoundly. Speaking of the US, he despaired that any society would allow a third of its own people and much of the rest of the world to live in poverty. He reminds us that the role of the prophet during Old Testament times was to remind the people of when they had broken their covenant with God and their fellow human beings. They were not popular people. In fact, we can all be prophets, reminding society of the broken covenants of liberalism and justice. Think of the prophets among us whom you have known. Stone number 4. Social reforms don't just happen. People make them happen. The faith of the liberal must be directed to societal institutions. Adams writes that the faith of a church is adequate only when it inspires people to give of their time and energy to shape the various institutions of community life. He said people should be active in groups at the cutting edge of contemporary issues. Joining the local library board doesn't count unless the librarian is under attack as a communist. Adams wrote that more important than any particular idea of God is a belief that history has meaning, and the corollary is our responsibility to be engaged in it. Someone once asked me at a membership orientation discussion why this church was so political. And I responded that for me, working for justice in the world is part of the essence of our faith. The fifth stone, we live in hope. Let me read from Adams as he considers the work of Paul, of Augustine, of Channing, of Marx, and others. All speak of the hopeful mood without neglecting the realistic and the tragic. All are severely critical of much around them, but all sense that at the depths of human nature and at the boundaries of what we are, there are potential resources that can prevent a retreat to nihilism. The affirmative answer of prophetic religion, which may be heard in the very midst of the doom that threatens like thunder, is that history is a struggle in dead earnest between justice and injustice. And we enter into that struggle with an affirmation of love and beauty. The 5 characterizations of the essential elements of a genuine and vital religious liberalism. Revelation is continuous, association is voluntary, justice is required, social reforms are crucial, hope is justified. Well, what did the life of a prophet like Adams look like? One might say he practiced what he preached. He visited Germany twice in the 1930s, interacting with Protestant scholars in the so-called confessing church. He was highly critical of them for being more concerned about the survival of the church than of the rest of the society under Nazism. There, he worked with the resistance, hid papers, some of which he smuggled to the US. He transferred money for Jewish Germans. He was interrogated by the Gestapo. Back in Chicago, many of the voluntary organizations he joined and helped create were involved in fighting racism. I'll simply list a few of them. He participated in an all-night vigil at a new federal housing project where whites were excluding blacks. While teaching courses on Protestantism and politics at U of C, he co-chaired a Montgomery Ward strike committee. He co-founded Hull House, and he helped found and lead the IVI, the Independent Voters of Illinois, which still exists. And the list goes on. Here are 3 of the lessons I draw from Adams. I look forward to discussing them with you. First, we are all prophets and have the responsibility to confront society when it breaks the liberal covenant to make the world a more equitable place. Second, we need to engage in the work required to establish a just and loving world, and we should engage in that work with joy and confidence, not with fear and foreboding. Finally, we should examine our voluntary association here, the First Unitarian Society of Chicago. Are we simply a social club of people who like each other and like to talk and argue with each other? Or do we have a faith, some confidence, that together we can help make the world a better place? Let me close with Polly McCoo. She remained an active member of First U until her death in 2007 at age 78. Long before Finley Campbell arrived, she fought for multiracial unity here. She sat at her table during social hour, helping organize the activities of the church, including the first Kwanzaa, which she insisted must be multiracial. And Finley and others followed in her footsteps. Let us now follow in their footsteps. Amen.
As we gather each week in worship, in this celebration of life, we bring our whole selves to share with one another our joys as well as our sorrows. This week,
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
This week, we lift up all those affected by recent natural disasters across the world, including the earthquake in Indonesia and Hurricane Lala causing flooding in Hawaii. May we remember that climate change affects us all, and climate justice is our humanity responsibility.
Comfort me, oh my soul.
Our first joys and sorrow comes from Catherine Hearthstone. It's a joy for celebrating Stephen's birthday. Our second was another joy. We have joys this morning. Our second joy is anonymous. It says, "My joy this morning was seeing the many young people gather to hear the story. It brought a smile to my face and it warmed my heart." Thank you.
Comfort me, oh my soul.
We lift up these joys and sorrows. We also hold in our hearts all those suffering today from wars, who are unfree and prevented from thriving, who are grieving and hurt, who are fearful, worried, who are facing hate. We hold these in our hearts in this room and around the world that we might have respite. We hold in our hearts our leaders in church and state that they might find their way to wisdom and love. We hold in our hearts all who are working tirelessly for more justice and dignity, that we might be strengthened and renewed in the work of birthing a new world. We hold in our hearts all who are sick, who are struggling, who are caring for a loved one, that they may have comfort and know our care. And finally, we lift up those whose names are on our hearts and minds. We speak them out loud into this space or silently in our hearts. For all the joys and sorrows of our community and of the world, those named and those held silent, those remembered and those forgotten, may we make space for them and keep them in our care.
Sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me, oh my soul. Please rise and bow to your spirit for the singing of our sending song. It is number 146 in the gray hymnal, "Soon the Day Will Arrive." Again, that is 146 in the gray hymnal. Soon the day will arrive where we will be together and no the children will smile without wondering whether on that day thunderclouds will appear. Wait and see what a world there can be if we share, if we care, you and me. Wait and see what a world there can be if we share, if we care, you and me. Some have dreamed, some have died to make a world tomorrow, and our vision remains in our hearts. Now the torch must be passed without hope, not in sorrow, and a promise to make a new start. Wait and see what a world there can be if we share, if we care, you and me. Wait and see what a world there can be if we share, if we care, you and me. Refrain one more time. Wait and see what a world there can be if we share, if we care, you and me. Wait and see what a world there can be if we share, if we care, you and me.
Please remain standing and open your gray hymnals to the responsive reading 591 for the benediction. And while you're doing that, let me remind you that if you want to see James Luther Adams speaking in his own words, we'll have some videos in Hall Chapel. Get your coffee and bring it to Hall Chapel, and we'll show a few minutes of videos. For this benediction, please read the parts in italics with Max. I call that church free, which enters into covenant with the ultimate source of existence.
That sustaining and transforming power not made with human hands.
It binds together families and generations, protecting against the idolatry of any human claim to absolute truth or authority.
This covenant is the charter and responsibility and joy of worship in the face of death as well as life.
I call that church free, which brings individuals into a caring, trusting fellowship.
That protects and nourishes their integrity and spiritual freedom, that yearns to belong to the Church Universal.
It is open to insight and conscience from every source. It bursts through rigid tradition, giving rise to new and living language, to new and broader fellowship.
It is a pilgrim church, a servant church on an adventure of the Spirit.
The goal is the prophethood and priesthood of all believers, the one for the liberty of prophesying, the other for the ministry of healing.
It aims to find unity in diversity under the promptings of the Spirit that bloweth where it listeth and maketh all things new.
Go in peace, my friends.